This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Call Rowena now. The number is 240-9962 or 1-800-570-9962. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
Hey, it is Rowena Patton, and we're live with Janet Ridgway today. I'm so excited. She's going to be calling in. We are talking about assisted living. She is part of the assistedlivingcpo.com team. She's a certified assisted living specialist agent, and she actually closed or helped somebody transition through this program. She's the very first agent to do it. Good morning, Janet. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great, Rowena. Thanks for having me this morning.
And you're an hour earlier. Tell everybody where you are and how you love your beautiful city.
Oh, thank you. I'm in San Angelo, Texas. It's a little warm here today, but not as bad as it has been. And we're a city of about 100,000 people. We're really, if you look on the map, we look like we're Central Texas, but we consider ourselves to be West Texas. We're kind of the gateway to West Texas, and we're very proud of our beautiful city. 3 lakes, beautiful rivers, and so come and see us. We're a great place to retire.
Really? So you're very much a retirement area. We are here too, although I guess people retire anywhere. It might be a bit warmer than up north. What do you think about that?
Yes, significantly. Whenever it snows even just a little bit, the whole city just shuts down. We have no idea what to do with snow.
We're pretty much the same way here. We're in Asheville, North Carolina. We're a little bit up in the mountains. We're in the mountains, obviously. And, we have people listening all over the country, so they don't necessarily know it's in the mountains. It is in the mountains, which gives us that elevation, which gives us that cooler weather in the summer. Although some of the days right now, the dog days of summer, I wouldn't know it's cooler in the mountains. What do you think, Randy?
We're having a warm spell right now. Temperatures today expected to be around 90.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that hot.
Wow. It still sounds lovely.
It
I'd love
is.
to come. When I think of North Carolina, I think of the Andy Griffith show.
That's it. That's us. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll take that. Yeah.
Come on, we'll take you. I'm so excited, Janet. You were the very first agent in our Cash CPO team to help somebody transition into an assisted living property. Tell us how that's going and as much of the situation that you can share with us today, because there's so many people waiting to go into some kind of assisted living or move out of their home into that first stage of assisted living where it's not necessarily assisted, but you can move into that.
Exactly. Well, this gentleman was already in place, but then, of course, then there's family that's left trying to figure out what to do with his home. And so they certainly were anxious to know that they could get the home sold with as little effort as possible. They kind of had their hands full trying to deal with, of course, this gentleman. And so it was a great solution for everybody, and it allowed them to get cash out immediately for his care. They know that the house is already taken care of, right? There's just not that stress and that worry on their minds. And so we closed on Wednesday, and now then we have the team that is coming in with the project manager and the designer. They're going to take over the control of the house as soon as, with one thing that I think is super important here, what we managed to do for the family is to negotiate for them to have control of the house, occupancy of the house through the end of the month, which was great. There, as a matter of fact, as we speak, there's an estate sale going on there. So even though they've gotten their money, they've gotten out, they know what to do, to help their family member, they are still able to have use of the house for a short period of time to go ahead and get the house empty, have that estate sale. I think that was a huge plus that we were able to offer that would have been difficult for them with another buyer. So to me, that was just a big bonus that I like to throw out there, the ability to get your money and still have a little bit of time because we all have stuff, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's just a lifetime of stuff in a house, and it's overwhelming to deal with all of that. And so it's nice to have that opportunity to be able to deal with it in a way that you still know what the plan is. So anyway, that was a huge plus. So now then there's the design team coming in, and we are going to add some beautiful updates to the home. This home was, oh my goodness, so we have a country club here that this home was one of the original homes built on the country club. So you can imagine it's in a prime location on the golf course.
I want to hear
But
all those
nothing
details,
happened.
Janet, but can we step back just a little bit? Because,
Sure.
you know, people who are looking to transition in this way
Yes.
usually are not 19. They're not in their 20s or 30s. They're going to be in their
Exactly.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Generally, the
Yes.
home that they're living in, like many of our homes, full of stuff, like you're saying, full of older stuff, probably too, that a lot of us kids don't want, a lot of your kids don't want, even though you think they do, right? So a lot of
Yes.
stuff. And often when we're older, especially if we've lost a partner already, the home may not be very well maintained. And a lot of people get concerned about all the work that they've got to do to get a home ready for sale. So not only does this program purchase your home and you get your cash out right away, as Janet was saying, in as fast as 12 days, actually. What they do is they come in, they help you if you need more time to get all your stuff and things out. They renovate the home, they do an inspection, they do an appraisal. That's why it's called Assisted Living CPO. You've got a certified pre-owned home after that's going to sell well. It will probably sell more than you would have traditionally or listed it in the old-fashioned way, because the kids now, I'm guessing it's the kids of this gentleman, are going to get the waterfall, they call it, the stage 2, when the cash CPO team have gone in and they've renovated everything, got it ready for sale. Then Janet gets to list it and sell it. And Janet, I'm guessing they'll make more money that way than they would if you'd done the old-fashioned sale and just put it on the market with all that stuff and things and all the things that needed fixing. Is that right?
That's more than right. Yes, you hit the nail on the head, Rowena, because this home is in such a prime location, but it was like a time capsule. I mean, you walked in and you felt like you had a flashback to the 80s. You know, it's sort of a Back to the Future feeling, because I don't know that they had changed a light bulb in the whole time that they had lived in this house. Everything was just very, very original, which was precious to see, but it's a difficult sale for current home buyers, right? They come in and they see your furniture from the 80s, they see your light fixtures from the 80s, they see your pictures on the walls from the 80s, and in their mind it's an old, outdated house, and they can't see the beautiful space, they can't see the great location, they can't see those mature trees and the great landscaping. And so this gives that home the opportunity to really get that facelift and be prime location, prime landscaping, beautiful. I keep saying trees because in our part of the world, trees are so precious. And with a new construction home, you're not going to get a tree.
Yes.
Right?
You can't just buy a mature tree and stick it in. Well, you can in Miami. You could. You just bought a big old palm tree for a few $1,000s and stuck it in, but they never look quite the same.
I'm sure your area trees are everywhere, but this really lets that prime home in a prime location get a prime price instead of having the value greatly knocked down because of all of those original details and just the stuff that's in it. Oh my goodness, just all the stuff, the 40 years of stuff that accumulates in anybody's home, just to be able to get that out and then be able to scrape the ceilings, get the popcorn off, put some new countertops on, give it a fresh, new, modern look. I think that's the real benefit.
And did the kids have to pay for this, Janet?
No, the program pays for this, which is part of the Real Plus. The program will allow the homeowner, they're really out free and clear. They don't have to worry about anything after this. And then they do still get the benefit of what all of these great renovations will bring about in that waterfall, as you called it, which is a genius plan and very different from anything else that's available on the market.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So were the kids surprised by this, or how did you explain it? Was it a listed property or an off-market property? Like, how did you go in and explain it to them?
Right. It was a listed property. And in this case, quite honestly, it wasn't the kids. This particular gentleman didn't have children, but, other family members. And so I just, they weren't here. It was difficult for them. The house was on the market. But as I say, all they were getting were these low offers because the house was this time capsule, right? That here's what I say, Rowena. Work to buyers is a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a 4-letter word when you're a buyer. And as an agent going in and showing buyers, I mean, instead of seeing the house, I just hear this litany of, oh my gosh, would have to change this, would have to change that. And the buyer feels overwhelmed by the amount of work that needs to be done, when in fact, very little work would make a huge difference. It just needs to be freshened up and modernized. And so this program allows that to happen. But guess what? Instead of it just being a flipper that comes in and does that, and then the flipper gets all of the benefit from buying your home at a discounted price, and then they do the work, and then they get all of the reward. This way, the original homeowner actually gets to participate in the added value that's brought about by the renovation.
It's just so what I'm so glad you just put that so eloquently, and it just warms my heart seeing the people we're being able to help through this move on much faster than we would have done otherwise. Which obviously, when you're assisted living already, and I feel so bad for everybody that's left to deal with stuff. Whether you're going into assisted living or not, as we age, we're all trying to get the kids back to talk about what they want. None of them want to do that, and they don't want stuff, unless it's diamonds, of course. Everybody wants diamonds.
Yes, and they don't usually live in the same town as the home that needs the work. So who's going to do the work, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to, and most of the time, other family members, they have their own jobs, they have their own families, they have their own activities that they need to take care of. And so it's not lack of care or concern that they can't come and do this. It's just, people have a certain amount of bandwidth of what they can handle, and then you add to their plate. Okay, now then we have to take care of selling mom or dad's house before we can have the funds that we need to put them in this assisted living place. And one thing that I have worked with quite a bit, we have a beautiful, let's call it a retirement community here in San Angelo. And boy, those properties that are available out there do not come available very often. So when they do, you have to really jump on it. You have to be able to put the money down and jump on that. And this would allow somebody in that position to very quickly know that they were going to get their money, to be able to pay their deposit and purchase that retirement property without worrying that they were going to put their house on the market. It's not going to sell, and I'm going to miss my opportunity to buy this retirement property because it just sat there for too long, and they had to go to the next person on the list. So I think there's a huge benefit in that. Retirement and assisted living, it's not just a single thing. It's a lot of things. Everybody has their own situation, right? It's somebody that's young that young for a retiree, let's say, that's wanting to sell their home and travel, and they see an opportunity to buy somewhere else, or they're wanting to get into those retirement communities, or somebody maybe that does need assisted living, or they need nursing home care. Lots of different levels that this program really answers those questions. It's a problem solver.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a problem solver.
It is. That's a very good way to put it. We have Divorce CPO, for example, divorcecpo.com, helping people go through that divorce process. And you're dealing with top agents all around the country who've become certified in these areas. It's a great program. They will only take the top. You've got to be in the top 2% in your market area. It's and we've all been certified in all these areas: assisted living, which we're talking about today, divorcecpo.com, estatecpo.com. That's when you're in an estate where, maybe one of the parents has died already and then you lose the other parent. For sale by owner, fisbocpo.com. We have a whole, actually we just closed one in McFarland, Wisconsin, for sale by owner. We helped her for sale by owner there. Foreclosure, if you're facing foreclosure or getting behind on the mortgage, that's happening to way too many people these days.
Powerful, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Relocation and retirement.
It really offers solutions. Yes. It just offers a lot of solutions, Rowena, and I'm grateful that you put this program together and let us mutual, as you say, it's top agents around the country, and it's so powerful for us to be able to communicate with each other and find out what's working and what systems to put in place and how to best serve our clients, because we're talking with the people that are the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And that just elevates the game for all of us.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it means, often people are moving around. So it may be kids, when I say kids, 60-year-olds moving from one area to help their parents that are going into assisted living or are thinking about it. So the fact that we have this network now all over the country, and you can find your agent at assistedlivingcpo.com, assistedlivingcpo.com. If you're interested in all the other areas I mentioned, for sale by owner, foreclosures, relocation, retirement, divorce, we have a whole divorce program going on there. This company will come in and purchase your home, and they do an inspection and an appraisal. So there's no, Brenda the wife wants to use this realtor, and Bert the husband wants to use that realtor, and everybody's fighting about it, and what price should it be at, and one if they're getting divorced and one party is staying in the house. This program goes in and upfront funds the appraisal and the inspection and purchases your home. You get up to 75% cash out immediately. They go in, they freshen up your home. The cash CPO team go in, freshen up your home, maybe put new countertops, whatever it needs, basically. You don't have to worry about all those things you haven't been doing. And trust me, even if you think your house is perfect, the average home has over 40 items that come back on the inspection report. Cash CPO team will go in and they will fix everything that's on the inspection report, as well as maybe new countertops and a freshen up, maybe a deep clean, maybe a new roof, whatever it is. And your home will then sell for more money. Janet, you're a top agent there. When you take buyers around and there's two homes and, you're showing them things that obviously need freshening up. Everybody's complaining.
Right.
That's why people love new homes, or you take them in a home that's been fully remodeled.
That's right.
It's really obvious which one's going to sell first, right?
Absolutely. And Rowena, people are buying smaller new homes just to avoid the work that would have given them a larger home.
Yes.
And that's a little older, and that's a little surprising to me sometimes, because we all value our space so much. But that tells you how much people want to avoid that four-letter word of work.
Yes.
And so everybody's busy. They don't have time for this unless you're just a really handy person that is hoping to buy a home and do what they call house hacking, live in it, flip it in 2 years, that kind of thing. Unless you're that kind of person, more than likely you don't have the money after you've just made the down payment on your house and you just paid your closing costs. Now then, you don't have the money to go in and get another loan or put in new countertops or change the flooring out. You need it to be all already in your mortgage so that the home is move-in ready and doesn't need all of those other things done. So this program answers that question. Resources are limited. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but not everyone has a ton of money just sitting in a savings account ready to do all that work on their house to get it ready for the market. And this program really answers that question, that they don't have to, the seller does not have to, out of pocket, up front, come up with all of that money and hope that their house might be worth more. And did they make the right choices, and did they know what they were doing? And that's the thing too that I see, when I'm listing a house for a client, the seller will always say, hey, should I do, these updates? And,
Oh, yeah.
Most sellers don't know exactly what's going to add the most value to their home. And with this program you're talking about, experts, they know exactly what the best rate of return is going to be. If we put on granite countertops and spend $5,000, it's going to make the house worth $10,000 more instead of something else that might be not as cost efficient and not give the rate of return. So I love that you're working with professionals that already know to the penny what is going to give the best rate of return on the house.
Well,
it's just a huge difference.
I think it's a time thing as well because, first off, a lot of people don't know what to do. You're right. And it's not just what's going to add the most value. They just don't know what to do. Like, what kind of countertops shall we put on? And then you've got a husband and what color? And then you've got a husband and a wife who have different ideas, and then you get in a row about it. And then you've got to take
and
three,
then
four.
Divorce CPO step in, right?
That's right. And then you've got
we want to avoid that.
We do. And then you've got 6 months while you're doing all of that, where we're in a flattening market now, and you don't want to spend that 6 months. Get your money out fast. You can make a non-contingent offer. We haven't even mentioned that bit. So obviously not in assisted living necessarily, but actually that's the case too. So we also haven't mentioned that if you're thinking about assisted living, generally you're on a list somewhere to get on the first rung of the ladder. And it's usually, apartment style where you don't need any assistance to start off with. Maybe there are group meals that you can join in with or something like that. And then you go up the ladder as you need more help. However, when you're on the list for these properties, sometimes you've only got 30 days to 90 days. Almost, I've never seen
even that.
Yeah, I've never seen 90 days.
Honestly,
where you
Rowena, when we were putting my mother in an assisted living facility, we went and looked at the only available apartment that morning. And my mother said, well, let me think about it. And before we even made it to the car, the administrator called me and said, hey, we've just had another call. There's somebody coming in shortly to put in a deposit on that apartment. I turned right around, went in and wrote a check. I mean,
wow.
If I had not had the resources right then to be able to do something, she might have lost that apartment. So I sometimes time is of the essence.
Yeah.
And to have that money in hand to be able to do what you need to do for your loved one is extremely valuable. And, I think we all, in our minds, we think that something better is going to come along later. And what I find in real estate is that that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your best offer to work with is the offer you get now. The offer in hand is the offer that's the one you should work with, because I think of real estate sort of like you went to the grocery store and you bought a piece of fresh fish, right? It's great today. It'll be okay tomorrow. By the third day, you might not want to touch it. And after that, you're going to want to throw it out. And a listing can be like that. When it's hot on the market, you're going to get your best offers. But there is a time decay to the value of that listing. And the longer that listing sits on the market, the less it's worth. And so I just want to encourage these families sometimes to just go ahead and work with the offer that you have and not think that there is some white knight that's going to come along later and make you this huge offer. And this gives those people that have listings that have gotten stale an opportunity to very quickly get some money, get out, get a fresh opportunity, and then be able to go from there and possibly get more later, instead of just sitting around and hoping that they're going to get a better offer in the future. That rarely happens.
We should mention that too. If you have a listing on the market, Cash CPO team will come in and make an offer on your home. And this is not your grandparents' cash offer. This is when we're not, we buy
That's
ugly
right.
homes or buying your home at 70% or anything like that. The average seller gets between 93 and 120% of what it would have been listed at, or what it is listed at. What we're doing is we're going in and making a full price market offer. Now, it depends on how much work your home needs doing to it, and it may need nothing doing to it. They will buy new homes all the time. They'll buy homes that have been flipped by flippers all the time. And the difference is we can go in and stage. It could be virtually staged, fully staged, all kinds of things you can do to a home, including marketing it differently to allow it to sell, which this is a great program. If you've been listed over 30 days and you haven't sold because the market's crested in most places in the country, how are you doing in your area, Janet? Let's talk about that. Has it crested and when did it?
Well, if people price their homes appropriately and not aspirationally, the homes are selling.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not selling as quickly. Listings are not getting showings like you would hope. I mean, that's one thing that I think sellers are very frustrated by right now, are just the low number of even showings that listings are getting. And so this does offer that solution if you feel like you're locked into a home and you need to have a change in your life for some reason. And most of the time that somebody is moving, it's not because there's something wrong with their home. It's because they've had some sort of a change that's happened in their life, right? They've gotten a job somewhere else. They've had another baby. They're getting a divorce. There's just a lot of things that precipitate the change of real estate because of the change in their life.
Empty nesters.
Pardon?
Empty nesters.
Oh, yes. Empty nesters. You need to downsize. You need to upsize. You need to right size, correct? You need to right size home for where you are in your life right now. And so this allows you to do that. But, yeah, the market here has really, really slowed. I think we're probably unique in that, I think we're having a little tougher time than some of the other areas. I still hear of some of these people getting multiple offers. But the right price for your home, I think, is the number one issue that I see right now, because sellers sure want to hang on to those prices that they, their neighbor in 2020 got, these crazy prices and 15 offers for their house. And it's just not that market right now. The market is definitely different.
How was it last year? Were you still seeing multiple offers early last summer?
Early last summer, but by the end of summer, it had really begun to shift.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same everywhere. I mean, we're in a large group now. There's about 600 agents as part of the cashcpo.com. Just go check it out, cashcpo.com. Find your agent in your area. They're all over the country now. We've got an army of people out there doing this. We do have a coaching program every single day to lift and elevate the knowledge of everybody in this program. And we're hearing every single day that all around the country, the market has slowed down. The market's still hopping just a little bit in California because so many people are leaving. That's what we keep hearing from. And you've been on the calls, Janet. You've heard our Californian agents saying, well, we're selling a lot because people are leaving.
Right. Well, fortunately, Texas is the beneficiary of some of that. A lot of folks that are choosing to leave more expensive areas to live in. As a matter of fact, I was on the call yesterday with a gentleman that helps me with some marketing. And so, I was kind of doing a little commercial talking about how attractive San Angelo was for retirement. And while we were on the call and he was coaching me through all this, he started looking at properties in San Angelo, and he said, I could sell my house here in Southern California and buy the nicest home on the market there and live like a king. And, he's right. And so we do see a lot of people that are selling in those higher-priced areas. They can come here and buy a beautiful home, put a ton of money in their retirement account, and know that retirement is much more attainable for them. And, of course, in Texas, we don't have a state income tax, so that helps too. So, yes, you're exactly right, Rowena. It's a different market, and people are I think, a little nervous. I think another thing, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I think lenders are nervous right now too.
Yes. And
so the lenders are really asking for a lot more documentation on a loan. So it takes a realtor to help their client through that process and keep everybody patient and calm and make sure that we're getting done what needs to be done. And I kind of feel sorry for those people that are trying to sell their house FSBO because of for sale by owners, and they have no idea what they need to do to help out their buyers. And So everybody's just kind of floundering. So when the market's tough, that's when you really need real estate professionals to be there to help you.
You're right. We had one last week where Nicole, one of our incredible agents, one of our all-stars in All-Star Powerhouse, brokered by EXP. We're here in Asheville, North Carolina. With her deal, she got a house under contract for about $1.1 million a few weeks ago. It closes in a couple of weeks. And the loan's been very slow. It's been really interesting.
Yes.
In fact, we had to extend the due diligence period because he hadn't got his loan approval through because they're asking for all these additional documents. So, yes, we're seeing it in real time where it's slowing down. There's no doubt. And it's normal. It's a shift in the market. We have an economic cycle, 7 to 11 years. Everybody that's been listening to me for the last 678 shows, yes, that's a real number over the last 12 years. We're in our 12th year here.
Congratulations on that.
Is very bored of listening to me saying that there's an economic cycle. However, we've finally crested in all those 12 years. You know, it's pretty much been going up. It's a little crazy. It was at the bottom when we started, and it's been going up, 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 up. It's very natural. 7 to 11 years since 1860, when good old Clément Juglar, the French economist, set it up in the first place. It hasn't changed. It's normal. We're 4 years overdue for this market correction.
So when I was in my 20s, I was a stockbroker, and my husband and I bought our first home. We were having our first child, and we were buying our first home. We had excellent credit, and we paid 14.5% interest to buy our first home. And we were proud to get that because there were other people that were paying much more. So, you know, to me, anything under 10% is free money. But but at the same time that I say that, we are at an interest rate right now that it is eating up a lot of the purchase power of buyers. And so we need to be respectful of that. And it does mean that some of those folks that were looking in one price point have now had to readjust their plans to a lower price point just for a home to fit in their budget. So, you know, that's the other thing that we as realtors and, you know, real estate professionals can do is help people find the very best value for their money. And that's another thing with the cash CPO program to me is it does let people get into a home, these homes that have been inspected, they've been appraised, they've been renovated. Somebody can move into those homes with confidence and know that they're not going to have these big unexpected issues that pop up.
Well, you know, so CPOexperts.com, that's where all of this started, CPOexperts.com. You don't have to have a cash offer. You can have a regular old certified pre-owned home. CPO cars, 176-point inspection, black book value, and then a dealership warranty. Every single dealership has them. They've been doing this for 30 years in cars. 2007, I thought, why aren't we doing this with houses? We just throw them out there. We know there's going to be 40 things plus on the inspection report. That's normal. That's not unusual at all. It's normal. And then over 30% of your, okay, you're a seller, you've got your house on the market. If you've got it listed right now, you've got a 32% chance that your contract is going to fall out once it goes under contract. That's horrific to me. That means only two-thirds go through. Yeah. That's crazy. So by doing
it's very disappointing to your seller, yes. And then it kind of gives their property a black eye, too.
Yes.
So that their next offer will be lower.
Yeah.
Yes. The next offer typically is a lower offer than the original offer that they received.
So, Janet, what happens when you have a listing and then it falls out because it hasn't been pre-inspected? It happens very seldom with my sellers because most understand. If you want to learn more about this, go to CPOexperts.com. Again, we've got an army of over 600 now around the country who are practicing this and will help you through it. You don't have to do anything, but at least hear them out because it makes sense. So, Janet, what happens when you have a listing? And remember, she's in San Angelo, Texas, miles away from us. It's the same all over the country and probably all over the world. You have a listing, Janet. It falls out. What happens next? Do all the agents and all the buyers from California and everywhere else that are coming in, do they call you and say, what happened?
Yes. Well, after the weeping, the wailing, and the gnashing of teeth by the seller, of course,
yes.
You know, then my job as as their agent is to get busy and try to get another contract. But yes, other agents are calling, other clients are calling, and they are very curious. What was wrong? That's their first thought in their head is, what was wrong with the house? And frequently in our market right now, it's not that there was something wrong with the house. It's that somebody's financing didn't go through.
Yes.
But also, it's because of affordability and the fact that there would be a lot of repairs that had to happen that were overwhelming to the buyer.
Yes.
You know, the buyer is looking at that. They see that they're paying this high interest rate. They're paying a premium for homes. And they want to move into something that doesn't need the electric panel replaced. It doesn't need all of these other hidden issues that they didn't see when they were in that home for 30 minutes doing their walkthrough, when they were looking at 20 homes that day and fell in love with that one.
Yes.
You know, the blinders were kind of on at that time. They didn't see all of the, I call them the big five: the foundation, the roof, the HVAC, the electric, and the plumbing. Those are things that most of the time when a buyer is out on tour and they're looking at homes, they're not seeing those things.
Yes.
But then here comes the inspection, and the inspector calls it to their attention. And it is overwhelming, especially to a first-time home buyer, to think that now then they're going to have to deal with the home that needs a roof. It needs maybe some foundation repair. It needs a new electric panel. The plumbing needs some attention. The HVAC is shot. All of a sudden now then they just feel overwhelmed by that. So here's what I feel like this program does is it eliminates that, right? Now then your buyer is coming and they're seeing a home that the roof is in good condition, the HVAC has been serviced, the foundation's been looked at, the electric panel is up to date and modern. All those things that had been concerns maybe in the house next door that was for sale are now not a concern in this a cash CPO home.
And the seller quite often makes more money. All the ones that we're putting through for approval, we're seeing between, usually it's not, there's a few under 100%, but it's like 97%. And let's face it, if you're listed, you'd probably take 97% of the price anyway, and you're probably going to wait another 60 or 90 days and then another 45 days after that for it to close. So, go ahead.
Get beat up on the price after the inspection, right? So, Rowena, you brought up a good example of a car. Let me just say, okay, you're going to go shopping for a previously owned car, and you come and you look at my car right now, which I'd be delighted to sell, but I use my car as my office. It's kind of my trash can. It's my my dining room. It's everything to me, right? I do everything in my car, and a lot of us do that now. If you looked at my car right now, you wouldn't give me very much money for it. But if I take it to the Lexus dealership and they detail it, they go through it, they change the oil, they make sure the tires are in good condition, they shine that baby up, and it looks like $1,000. I mean, $1 million. I'm sorry. Then somebody's going to give thousands more
literally
for this exact same car just because of the maintenance, the time, the attention, the love that's already happened to that car instead of me selling it to you right now. It makes a huge difference. So I think if people think of their homes that way, it's the same thing.
Just to return to what I was saying before, most of the homes that we're putting through for approval, a few of them we're seeing at 95 to 97%. Most of them we're seeing at 110, 120. We've even got one at 133% because of that, of what you would have listed it at. You're making more money because they go in and they fix everything. And almost every buyer and almost every buyer's agent is going to be blown away by the fact you're walking into a home that's all shiny and feels like new.
And staged and, top of its game. A house that's at the top of its game. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you've got to compete in this market, and you've got to compete against new homes. You may not be a new home. This allows you to compete against a new home, and it certainly puts you heads and shoulders above all the other homes out there. So you're missing a trick if you don't do this, whether you pay for the inspection and the appraisal yourself or get the cashcpo.com team to come in, take a look, give you an offer, or do a traditional listing. If you're listed already, get the cashcpo.com team to come in and give you an offer. The offer's presented to your realtor. Your realtor's still going to make their commission, all that good stuff. But, have them come in, take a look. You can stay up to 4 months in your home if you need to, or you can get out in as little as 12 days. Maybe you've got a second home that you're thinking about selling, or maybe you've got a portfolio of homes. We've got some people throwing their homes out there going, okay, I'll sell 1 or 2 to beef up my retirement because now the interest rates are higher, or we can't rent them out, or we're having, problems with the tenants, or it needs maintaining, so we'll just dump this one. Get it into the cashcpo.com team and get that offer. This is not something where we actually put an offer in on a home that somebody listed here, and the agent is in Atlanta. How many hours away is Atlanta, Randy?
Oh, wow.
3 hours from here.
At least 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Traffic is probably even 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's an agent a long way away that doesn't know this market. Obviously, it's through one of these programs. This is not that program. You have your agents on the ground helping you who are certified in how to do this, how to make you more money, get you out on your time scale, and not have all these headaches where a third of the time the contract drops out. That's a big deal right now, guys, because of the market. The market's declining. Yes, it's like the stock market. It'll go down a bit, up a little bit, down a bit, up a little bit, all the way down. You see that jiggity line all the way down for the next 3.5 to 5.5 years. You don't want to lose any time. Don't sit there going, oh, well, I'm going to redo the bathroom before we move out. Go buy your new house that's got the beautiful new bathroom. Enjoy yourself and don't, sit around going, oh, it's going to be a honeydew for the next 6 months, then we're going to sell it. Especially if you're, 60 and up. Gosh, we don't have all those years, Get out there, get your new place, enjoy it, and earn as much money. Most likely, the probability is 90 to 120%. The probability is you'll make even more money than you would have done. And oh my gosh, it's way less headaches. How are they getting on with the remodel on yours, Janet? How are we going on with that now?
Well, we haven't had access to it yet because they're having an estate sale today.
Oh, that's right.
So they are able to stay in the home and have access to it through the 31st. And then the project director has already been in touch with me. We already have contractors lined up. The designer is working on the plan. So I feel like, September 1st, we're going to hit the ground running. And the goal, of course, is to get the home back on the market as quickly as possible. And I think that we're going to be able to get that done. I'm hoping in a matter of 4 weeks that we'll be able to do the turnaround on it, and possibly sooner. But, I'm very optimistic that it's going to be a real winner for the original seller because that's our goal at the end of the day, is to help people, right? Not to take advantage of anyone, but to help everyone maximize their property. And so it'll bring me great joy to see a nice big check for the waterfall effect to come to fruition for that seller. That will make me very happy.
And they've got their first big check, which is fantastic, right? They've got that check already.
Absolutely, yes.
To get them going. And those checks come much faster than a traditional sale generally, because we're not seeing homes that, even if a home is listed and then it sells within the first month, there's the month. And after that, you've usually got 45 days, and a third of the time it drops out. So you're already 3 months in, and the probability of it dropping out is a third. That's a pretty big probability. If it drops out, you're most likely going to get less money, not just because of the market decline, but because, well, let's face it, it's 3 months right now, you'll be in the dead of winter. So less people buy homes generally around the holidays, right? So that's not going to help either. Yeah. But also the fact that you've now got that stigmatized listing with, I promise you, Janet and I hear it every single day. What's wrong with it if it's fallen out? All these agents are texting us, calling us, or people from other states are texting us or calling us going, hey, we saw that house, we really liked it, one of your listings, but we saw that it fell out. Usually the inspections and the buyers decided they just couldn't take it on. And we've now got a stigmatized listing. That brings you less money. Just go out there, get the cashcpo.com team in. Anywhere in the country, we've got you covered, I promise. We can get that agent out to you and come in, make an offer. It's almost always a full list price offer if you're listed. So what have you got to lose? Oh, my gosh. and you got it all to gain. At least statistically, you've got it all to gain, because most likely you're going to make the same or more money than you would in your traditional listing, and you're done. You don't have to keep dealing with all those showings. That's the other thing, Janet. If you're a for sale by owner, or you're thinking about listing, you don't have to deal with showings. Get your dogs out, get your kids out. We've got people smoking in the houses. The houses, they have to rush around like crazy fiends, cleaning them up. Nobody lives in a show-ready house, or very few people do.
No, nobody does. And I think that this allows you to get a show-ready house that just, when a buyer is out looking and they've seen 10 houses that day, the home that they walk into that's a CPO home is just going to be head and shoulders above the other homes that they're looking at that day.
Absolutely. And it's, if you've got a buyer's agent, which most people do, it's a really good idea, by the way. You've got a buyer's agent and they're taking you into 3 homes, and they're all pretty similar, and the husband likes A and the wife likes B. It's usually what happens. And we know the wife. What do you think, Randy? How many times does the wife actually get the choice that she wants?
She usually gets it every time.
Now, if the husband liked house A and the house A is CPO and the other 2 are not, anybody with half a brain, that buyer's agent and the husband and the wife, is going to go, well, the houses are pretty similar and this one's had everything done. We know there's no problems with it. And instead of giving my honey a honey-do list, I can actually spend time with him at the weekend. Time is so valuable, guys. We all want that. We don't want to move into a house that we also think, when that inspection comes back and there's all the big 5, as Janet calls them. I love that, Janet. When the big 5, if there's any issues with those, you start to question how that home has been maintained. What happened when they saw a damp spot, or did they just paint over it? What happened if this and that? Did they ever clean out the gutters? You start to question. Did they ever pump the septic tank? You start to question, was it maintained?
Exactly. Delayed maintenance is probably the biggest issue that is a concern of buyers. And so we can eliminate that concern because everything is maintained and brought up to date at the time that we put that home back on the market.
It's super cool, isn't it? Randy, our producer here, actually helped his mom sell a house through the Certified Pre-Owned program. The cash CPO is new. It's really the evolution of real estate. We've been doing CPOexperts.com, all the same site, guys. You can look at all these different products on the same site, CPOexperts.com. Randy knew about that because we've been doing shows about it for 12 years. And he said, I want to help my mom this way.
To catch on, Randy.
Yeah, I go to real estate school an hour every week, and I paid attention.
And how did that work with your mom's house?
Totally, it was the way to go. I had to convince my siblings, and I had to convince the real estate agent.
Oh, gosh.
I really did, that this is what we want to do. We want to have the inspection done, and we want to put that out there right off the bat. And I had to convince all 3 of them, and I did. And
because it makes sense,
it
right?
made perfect sense, and I only revealed my plan after the realtor had revealed her price that she thought we should get. And included in my proposal to do the inspection was about a $20,000 more price tag.
Wow.
And we got about 15 of it.
Wow, that's just absolutely awesome. And an inspection is $450. So if you don't want to do cash CPO and make more money than you would with a traditional listing, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. But if you want to do your own inspection, go ahead. If you want to do a for sale by owner and go through all that and all the showings and everything else you go through, do all the paperwork instead of a one and done and just a simple process.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead. We'll even help you do a traditional listing. We always just say, take a look at both. If you want to go and do the inspection, it'll cost you about $450, $300 to $500 anywhere in the country. And it's a massive insurance policy. And by the way, people don't do it because they don't want to fix things. You don't have to fix things. You just want everyone to go in eyes wide open and say, Randy, did you fix all the things on your list?
Absolutely not.
But you disclose the things, right?
Exactly.
And when you did, the buyers trusted you and thought, well, okay, we know what's wrong with it. We'll offer a price based on that. It's a win-win for everyone.
Sold to the second person who saw it.
Wow.
And the whole deal was was trustworthy. There
Yes.
was confidence in the whole deal from buyer and seller perspective.
And who says that about real estate ever?
Ever.
Yeah. Right? So,
Yeah.
I love that.
One of the things that I really encourage my sellers to do is to create a notebook that they leave out on the counter for buyers to see. And I want them in that notebook to put, any improvements, any maintenance, to be able to document for the future buyer how the home's been maintained and how impressive it is to be able to add an inspection report in there so that the buyers have confidence that that seller's disclosure, and I'm sure it's called something in other states, but that seller's disclosure is a full disclosure, and not only the disclosure by the seller of what they know, but also a disclosure by an inspector that really went through the home thoroughly. So it's a very attractive package and gives people more confidence in making an offer on your home.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. So if you're even thinking about hiding something, if it's a stain where the roof has been fixed, paint over it, no problem. The inspector's going to see those patches and he's going to be suspicious because so many people hide things. It's not worth it. And if you're thinking about, oh my gosh, how do I say this? A while ago, I sold a house for a person who went into that house and I said, we should do certified pre-owned on this. And he's like, well, I won't do it right now. And, his house sat and we said, okay, we'll do it. And we did it and all these things were wrong. And I said, well, didn't you find these when you bought the house? And he said, well, I'm kind of handy, so I didn't have the inspection. It breaks my heart, guys. Yeah. Have the inspection. Right. Don't invest in one of your biggest investments in the country and not have an inspection. Janet, we're almost at the top of the hour. Can you believe that we talked about this for a whole hour? Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you for having me, Rowena. I have so much respect for what you're doing and the program that you put together and the many people that are going to benefit from this, the sellers and the buyers. It just elevates real estate, and I'm very grateful for what you're putting together. Thank you.
Well, and I love that you brought the first, Janet. Thank you so much. There's nothing like the first, right? There are going to be thousands of these. The company we use bought 1,000 properties just last year. There's going to be thousands of them. And even once we get to that first 10 or 11, it's going to be a huge celebration. And, it's so exciting. There's nothing like the first. So congratulations, my love, and great job helping that family. I hope their estate sale goes well today. Do you want to give a quick promo for the estate sale?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know. I think that it's probably pretty much underway, and I bet there's not much left by this point. But, if you're in San Angelo, Texas, go by 5422 Beverly and buy some beautiful things that are from the 80s. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, you've got a lot of people listening because I tagged you on Facebook, by the way. So they're all seeing it. Yeah, they're all seeing it on there. So you might want to make a comment underneath with the address so they can go and find that estate sale. All right, my love. Thank you so much. We're wrapping it up. Go get on with your day. Thank you so much for being with us. That was Janet Ridgway from San Angelo, Texas. This is Rowena Patton, All-Star Powerhouse, brokered by EXP. Give us a call, 828-333-4483. We've got people standing by 24/7. See you next week.
This has been the Plain English Real Estate Show with Rowena Patton. Visit Rowena and post your questions at radioasheville.com or call her at 828-210-1648.